Media studies explores how media shape and reflect culture, politics, identity, and power. It is an interdisciplinary field that draws from sociology, communication, cultural studies, political economy, and semiotics. At its core, media studies is about understanding not only what we see, hear, and read, but how and why we see it that way, and what effects it has. Media are never neutral. They tell stories, circulate ideas, and define what counts as common sense. In this video, we'll explore 10 key concepts that help us analyze the systems, practices, and ideologies behind the media that saturate our daily lives. One central concept is representation. Media don't just reflect reality, they shape it by selecting certain images, voices, and narratives while leaving others out. This affects how we see ourselves and others. In news, politics, entertainment, or advertising, representation defines who is visible, how they are portrayed, and what meanings are attached. For example, early US television showed almost exclusively white, middle-class families as the social norm. The absence of people of color, LGBTQ+ individuals, or disabled people was not accidental. It was ideological. Over time, media campaigns like #OscarsSoWhite or the rise of diverse streaming content have challenged this, but representation remains a site of struggle. Stereotypes, tokenism, and exoticization still exist. Media tell us not just who matters, but how they matter, and who is left out. Media convergence refers to the merging of different forms of media and the integration of content across platforms. This includes the technological blending of phones, computers, and TVs into all-in-one devices, the industrial convergence of media companies, and the cultural convergence where audiences expect to interact with content across formats. For example, a superhero movie like Black Panther isn't just a film. It's a media event that spans Instagram posts, fan art, YouTube reaction videos, and academic debates. Convergence creates opportunities for creative participation, but also deepens the power of media conglomerates who own multiple points of access. It has changed storytelling, marketing, and even journalism, with stories unfolding simultaneously on TV, online articles, and social media updates. The public sphere is a concept drawn from Jürgen Habermas, describing the media's role in enabling rational critical debate among citizens. It's a space where society can discuss, argue, and shape public opinion. In principle, this supports democracy. But in practice, the public sphere is fragmented, commercialized, and unevenly accessible. Tabloid journalism, clickbait headlines, and outrage-driven algorithms often replace thoughtful discourse with emotional reaction. Still, the ideal of the public sphere remains important. Independent journalism, open-source platforms, and grassroots podcasts attempt to reclaim it. Social media have both expanded and distorted it, allowing marginalized voices to speak, but also amplifying disinformation and toxic discourse. The health of a democracy is closely tied to the health of its media public sphere. Ideology in media studies refers to the implicit values, norms, and assumptions that media communicate, often unconsciously. Media shape what feels normal, natural, or obvious. This includes ideas about gender roles, family structures, race relations, consumer behavior, and political legitimacy. For instance, romantic comedies often center on heterosexual, monogamous love as life's ultimate goal. News coverage might treat economic growth as inherently good, without questioning who benefits. Advertising constantly promotes consumerism as the path to happiness. These ideological messages are rarely stated outright, but they structure how we think and feel. Critically analyzing media ideology helps reveal how power works, not just through censorship, but through normalization. Audience reception shifts attention from media producers to users, emphasizing that audiences are active interpreters. People do not passively absorb meaning, they negotiate, resist, or reinterpret it. For example, some viewers might see reality shows like The Bachelor as romantic escapism, while others view them as critiques of gender norms. Cultural studies scholars like Stuart Hall argued that audiences decode messages in different ways: dominant, negotiated, or oppositional, depending on factors like class, gender, and ethnicity. Today, this is especially visible in fan communities, where users remix, parody, or transform media texts. From fanfiction and TikTok duets to YouTube reviews and meme pages, reception is no longer just about watching. It's about responding, adapting, and co creating. Media ownership and control concern the structures behind media production. Who owns the media determines whose voices are amplified and what perspectives dominate. In most countries, a small number of corporations own most media outlets, often across multiple sectors like news, entertainment, sports, and tech. This concentration affects editorial decisions, content diversity, and journalistic independence. For instance, when a company like Amazon owns both a major newspaper and a streaming platform, conflicts of interest may arise. Ownership also plays out in platform governance. Companies like Meta, Google, and TikTok shape what we see through algorithms, moderation policies, and monetization rules. Media power today is not just about content, it's about infrastructure. Globalization refers to the flow of media content, formats, and technologies across borders. Media globalization allows for cultural exchange, viewers in Brazil watching K-dramas, or TikTok creators in Kenya gaining global audiences. But it also raises concerns about Western dominance and cultural imperialism. Hollywood, Netflix, Spotify, and Apple dominate global media markets. Local cultures may be sidelined or reshaped to fit global trends. Language loss, aesthetic standardization, and one-size-fits-all narratives are real risks. At the same time, globalization isn't just top-down. Regional industries like Nollywood, Nigeria, anime, Japan, and Latin American telenovelas show how media globalization can be hybrid and dynamic. Framing is about how media shape meaning by selecting what to include, emphasize, or ignore. Every story has a frame, a perspective that guides interpretation. A news report on climate change might frame it as a scientific consensus, a political debate, or an economic challenge. Each frame suggests different causes, consequences, and solutions. Visual framing also matters. Photos of migrants may show desperation or resilience, sympathy or threat. Frames are powerful because they seem neutral, but they shape public opinion, policy decisions, and social attitudes. By analyzing framing, we see how media guide perception and set the boundaries for what is thinkable. Remediation is the process by which new media absorb, adapt, and transform older media forms. Media don't replace one another in a simple linear fashion, they interact. TikTok videos remix pop music and film tropes. Digital news stories mimic print layouts, but add interactive graphics and embedded tweets. Live streams borrow from talk shows and radio. Even AI-generated content is trained on older media archives. Remediation helps explain continuity amid change. It also shows how older media can gain new life, like how podcasts revived the long-form audio storytelling of radio, or how vinyl records returned as a retro trend in the streaming era. Interactivity is a defining feature of digital media environments. It refers to how users engage with content, systems, and other users through likes, comments, shares, remixes, and gameplay. Interactivity blurs the line between producer and audience. In gaming, viewers become players. On YouTube, users can become creators. Social media influencers build entire brands through interactive content. Yet interactivity can be deceptive. Platforms are designed to extract data and maximize engagement, not necessarily empower users. The promise of participation is real, but so are the risks: surveillance, manipulation, and burnout. Interactivity isn't just a feature, it's a business model. In sum, media studies gives us a conceptual toolkit to critically engage with the media systems around us. These 10 concepts, representation, convergence, public sphere, ideology, audience reception, ownership, globalization, framing, remediation, and interactivity, help us understand how meaning is constructed, how power operates, and how we are shaped by the media we consume and create. In a world of constant media flow, where every scroll, tap, and click carries meaning, learning to see the structures behind the screen is essential for anyone who wants to understand culture, politics, and identity today. Stay tuned for more insights into business and the social sciences. If you found this overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on future topics you'd like us to cover. I'm Dr. Dog, wishing you a fantastic day ahead.